Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Don't Be Afraid podcast. I am your host Jamila Oiza Muhammad Jamu, and I have with me here LazyWrita, aka LazyWrita. But his name is Anda. You can also call him LazyWrita. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. Good afternoon.
How was your journey here?
Smooth. It's a very hot day, so
Yes, I felt the heat when I was coming. It was very, very hot something.
Yeah, thank God for here. I guess.
Right. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm good. I'm chilled.
Good to hear.
What do you do, if I may ask?
What do? I write.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do social media management.
That's cool
basically
stuff.
it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so the thing is, we have you here because there's an interesting topic on my mind, like data consumption and its effects on how we use it, information overload, misinformation, and all of that. First off, do you agree that there's information overload? What does it even mean to you?
Definitely, I think so. Cause I think technology affects our every way of life. Cause technology drives the economy. The economy drives our way of life, the way
Yeah.
we think, the way we talk, whatever we do, and all that.
Yeah.
So an overload of it definitely has an advantage and disadvantage, like everything else. So I think,
definitely.
yeah, that is why we will have things like misinformation and all that.
Okay. Scenarios like, since there's like social media, do you think the fact that we have people that are very addicted to it may have like a play in how we have like information overload? Everybody uses social media now. In fact, I don't think there is anybody on this planet Earth that does not use social media
It
for one
looks-
purpose or the other.
It looks like everyone does, but according to stats, not like we are not even halfway there. So whatever we are complaining about right now, we're still going to like have more of it. So I think what we should also be thinking, while also creating awareness for this, we should also be looking at regulations going forward.
Regulations, yeah.
To like maybe curtail stuff like misinformation. I don't think we can necessarily cut it out totally.
No, we
it's
can't.
part
It's part of us
it's part
already.
of the system.
But
Yeah.
I'm speaking of cases whereby we have people that are addictive. Do you think it has a play in the misinformation that we may have or information overload?
It might be either ignorance. Yeah, mostly it might be ignorance, yeah, or illiteracy, I think. Yeah, because people spread information. Either they don't know that information is wrong, or they feel like they trust the
source of
their source,
information.
and then they are spreading that information without actually verifying for themselves.
Okay. You mentioned earlier that you're a writer and then you're social media manager, and I believe that your source of work, it channels you to like access lots of information, consume a
Yeah.
lot of data.
Yes.
How do you curb it first, and how do you think other people would be able to curb it?
Okay, so I used to have a blog sometime in 2015, 2016. I think that was how I got mainstream. That was how people got to know me. I used to have a blog, LazyWrita.com. And then it was
LazyWrita.com.
quite popular. I was getting like 100k views daily back then.
Oh,
So
shit.
it was quite big. And then I wasn't like a professional, so I stumbled on blogging via social media and all that. So
Okay.
then having to put up news, information, and then delving into the entertainment part of it, especially. So it was hard at first.
Okay.
Knowing that you have to like verify informations before you put them out there so you don't misinform people and all that. But eventually I got to take courses online and all that. So I got to improve and I learned, and so I knew what I needed to do.
Okay.
So that's why I said earlier that ignorance plays a
big role.
huge part of it.
Yeah.
So and I think social media platforms are also beginning to clamp down on misinformation. So for
Yes,
like,
yes.
for example, during the last election, a couple of us then, yeah, the term was social media influencers. A couple of us were approached by some brands, political brands, to spread some information for them, and we did. And I think like a week or two later, all our Twitter accounts were suspended. Yeah, so
What?
then I think I had like 300,000 followers on Twitter, and I just woke up one day and I was suspended.
Wait, how come?
That
Why?
is for sharing probably wrong or inaccurate
But
information.
were they really inaccurate?
Somehow, yeah. So I
Ah,
think they were like a smear campaign.
okay.
Yeah, it was like a smear campaign, which is also a bad side of social media. Yeah,
Okay.
so a lot of people, and they still do that till today. So they have like guidelines on what you can tweet, what you can put out there. So yeah, so that's like part of regulating social media for good. Yeah, so that way people are more careful about what they put out
Put
there.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, okay. How long have you been writing?
I have a book, yeah, but it's a book of poetry. Yeah, I have a book,
I like to
and I
see
have
that.
another one. So one is published, one is unpublished.
Okay.
Yeah, so I write short stories too. Yeah, and a couple of articles for some newspapers and all that.
And that has been since like when?
I've been writing since like 2014, but then published my book in like 2019.
Why didn't you come with a copy? So that was just some small autograph like this one.
I'll get you one.
I would be expecting.
Yeah, sure.
So okay, now you mentioned you already talked about how you were able to like curb information overload
Yeah.
for yourself.
Yeah, basically just learn, evolve. Once you learn, you know what to do and what not to do. Yeah, that was what helped me.
Helped you.
Yeah, I learned.
But
I
for
wasn't
other
aware
people,
at first, but yeah.
but for other people,
For other people, I think what we can do is keep
to sensitize them.
enlightening them. Yeah, sensitize them. Put that information out there. The dangers. Yeah, we have to make them aware of the dangers of misinforming people or spreading wrong information.
Okay. So when we talk about information overload and misinformation,
Yeah.
which one of them irks you more? Like, you just get so angry.
I think information overload is still okay for me because
Yeah.
when I have an overload of information, I just
You can always
I
back
get
out.
I get to chill and I'm like, okay, this one pertains to me, this
Right,
one pertains to
focus.
me. Yeah, you just pick the ones that you can relate to it, and then you get to sieve them and you be like, okay, this works, you can verify this, I know this for a fact. And yeah, thank God for that technology. You can easily verify stuff.
True.
Yeah, but misinformation is a much tougher thing to deal with because you say, for example, you go back to your source. Then what if that source has another source? That source has another
and
source.
There's a long
There's a long chain.
chain of
There's a long chain.
sources.
So sometimes, how do you get to verify it? And there's this thing, people in this age where there are like a million TV, radio stations, and bloggers,
Yeah.
everybody wants to be like the first to put something out there, like breaking news.
Yes.
You heard it first from
Instablog said it
kkk.com
first. Gossip Mill
and
TV.
all that. Yeah, so everybody wants to be first to put that news out there. So there's a rush to get that traffic.
Yes, on their
And
page.
so people don't care. So they can just put that stuff out there, whether it's wrong
Legit
or
or
not.
not.
They don't care about the dangers. Then, an hour or two later, they'll be like, we are sorry, apologies. Meanwhile, the main thing got like 1 million views and the apologies got like 20,000 views.
Yeah.
So, because bad news really travels
Faster
far
than good
and
news.
further. Yeah. So
Oh, wow.
that's how it works. I think a lot of people do this intentionally. They ignore the dangers of misinformation.
Probably they don't just really care.
They do care, but they feel like what they are getting in return is bigger than
They
whatever
prioritize what
consequences.
they get in return than
than
that.
the consequences of the misinformation.
Okay, so I want to use like a personal scenario as regards to information overload because I have a work that I'm doing, and I have to create a particular content. I already have this content in my head, and I'm like, God, Jamie, this is a baller idea. Like my creativity is on top notch like this.
Yeah.
But let me just go online and see what this site has, and so that I can just mash everything up and make sure that I'm delivering the best thing out there. And I see site A, hey, this one is nice. So site B, hey, she was in my head is correct like this. I'm seeing site C, site D, and
It's like not taking a list to the supermarket and then you get there and you see everything and
see
you're
so
like,
many
oh,
pigs,
I want
yeah.
this too, I want this, I want that. Yeah.
So, and then aside from the fact that it's subtly killing the creativity that I already had in my head, I'm not saying that you cannot take stuffs online, but subtly, what I thought was a banger idea in my head is already going down.
Yeah.
And then I'm also faced with the idea that I have to decide for this, which to pick, and then there comes the decision making aspects. I'm indecisive already, because how can sites A, B, C, D be having so many banger ideas, and I also have banger ideas in my head?
The truth is, those are other people's creative thoughts, and you had your own creative thought too, but then you wanted to get other ideas from other people's creative thoughts.
And then it's not for me Royal Rumble in my So you think that do you have like any personal experience like that?
For me, I just try to stay organized. So I have a list of things I want to do.
Number one, stay organized.
Yeah, things to do. Yeah, basically for me, I always have a list for everything. Yeah, I have a to-do list, and it
Number
keeps
two,
me,
have a to-do list.
it keeps me organized, and I know we're not perfect and we can't know everything, but so I also try to do research before starting my own creative process, because it helps. Rather than, so once I'm done with my own creative process, I'm not going to go back to start that research all over, because it means I also have to start all over again.
Okay, so lesson for people out there: number one, stay organized. Number two,
different strokes
have
for different
a great
folks.
but they should know. I mean,
that works for me, so I guess it should work for a lot of other people.
Of other people too. We spoke about misinformation, and I'd like to take us back. Let us travel back in time to. I'd like to start first with Ebola.
Yeah, Ebola.
So when Ebola came, there was this craze that, hey, you must use salt to bath, use salt to do this, so use salt to do. In fact, I had people that might say, this one said, we should use salt to have our bath, use salt to do everything. But then scientifically, it's not so healthy for the body. That's Ebola case number one. Then we have COVID. COVID was oh my goodness, I cannot explain what COVID was, but a lot of information out there, and everybody felt scared to their bones. This one is saying this, you should swallow garlic, swallow ginger, swallow. What did I not take? I swallowed garlic and ginger in our house every morning. We dice like this in small pieces. We drink it hot warm water.
What blog were you guys listening to? What's up?
I can't even remember, but that was all circulating around, and then there were lots of information out there too that people had to do to stay safe. And aside from the fact that you should also use your nose mask and sanitize yourself properly, and there were other wrong information out there too. What do you think about cases like that? There was also that of NSAS too. Lots of wrong information was out there.
For me, okay, most especially during the COVID period, I think I agree there was a whole lot of misinformation, and I know for a fact, according to things I read, that a whole lot of people died from that misinformation, because they were taking things they weren't supposed to take. They were taking things they weren't supposed to take and doing things they weren't supposed to.
Like when they said use your nose mask, they didn't say alternate it and like just breathe for a little bit, because some people were always their child and they would die of like asphyxiation,
So it was a crazy period. So for me, I think the biggest threat to limiting Ebola and COVID then was misinformation. It's because we had a lot of that, especially on WhatsApp, because people kept on
sending and forwarding
BCs. I think and they were like really really harmful, because even in countries like India, they have laws against spreading wrong
Wrong
information
information.
on, especially on platforms like WhatsApp, because they go like really really viral in seconds. You see our
Yeah.
parents sending you bait 3 times in the morning, bait 3 times at night, and all those things were wrong. But the good part was the FG stepped up. They were at the forefront. I think we were one of the countries that actually actively responded to the Ebola crisis, and
Yeah.
I think we did, pretty well handling COVID too. Yeah, considering how it ravaged like some other countries and all that. So
Yeah.
they were able to step up and get ahead of the information and all that. So I think people should also be careful where they are getting their
Their
from.
information.
Yeah. So
Be sure
I don't
of
think
your
your
boss.
pastor or whatever is a good source of information like that.
Well,
And
I think we
neither
can count them as at least. I mean,
well,
for religious bodies, they are
yeah,
good
I
people
feel
to
like
deliver information to you.
well, for me, I feel like
But
when
just
they
take it and verify and
they
be
deliver
sure.
it from
And use your
a
sense too
religious
to think.
perspective, and other people deliver it from their own perspective. So when you are looking at like a medical emergency like that, you should be looking at medical bodies to get your information from, or legit news
News
sites.
sites, right? Okay. I think we case of a monkeypox that happened like months
Yeah,
back.
it's
There really wasn't much. Or did you hear any wrong
I think
information?
if you read like the traditional newspapers and all, I kind of saw a couple of them, but it wasn't
Really?
like I think here
It wasn't
in this our side
widespread
of
like
the
that.
country, it wasn't widespread, because
Spread
there's this
like
thing
that.
people say, like if something is not happening in Lagos or Abuja, Nigerians don't really care. Just like the recent flooding now,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
like ravaged a whole lot of states out there, but like
Yes, because it's
the
not
media
Lagos.
don't care. I think the putting the information out there actually started majorly on platforms like Twitter and Facebook before
or
the
Instagram.
mainstream media started carrying it.
It.
Like people didn't really care. But if it was Lagos,
Eh,
then you see
the
BBC
whole world
and
would have heard
everybody
already.
jumping on it. Like
That's quite
and they act
unfair.
like the whole of Nigeria is flooded. But then I think some parts of the country are more important than some parts of the country. But then sadly, there's nothing we
Sadly.
can do about it.
All right, you guys have heard from LazyWrita. Watch the kind of information you consume. Be sure your source is really, really, really trusted before you consume any information from that source. And also to curb information overload, be organized, have a to-do list. I know that third thing
And
you
if
said
you are not
again.
sure, don't spread it.
Don't spread it.
That's it's not
Exactly.
hard.
It's better to keep
Yeah,
quiet
it's
than
not hard.
spread wrong
Yeah, than spread
information,
wrong
right?
info, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been lovely having you on our
Thank you for
seat.
having me.
It's great to have you here.